Look, I have done a lot of different jobs over the years. I've worked in shops, I've worked in offices, I've worked in the mental health profession, and I've worked as a teacher, believe it or not, in a secondary school. And the one thing that all of those jobs have in common is that they were all deeply dissatisfying. The other thing they have in common is that I wouldn't have done any of them unless I were paid to do so. And I think the fundamental unfreedom of wage slavery and conventional full-time employment is a bit of a taboo. We're not allowed to be honest about it. Any protestations about wage slavery are often viewed as somewhat adolescent or immature. It's seen as a failure to accept the real world. I find it an incredibly depressing political fact that so many people seem to want a society in which everyone works all the time for the bulk of their life, 9 to 5, 40 hours a week, 60 years of their life until they barely have any life left, and during so-called retirement they get to do what they want with what's left of their bodies. Meanwhile, the best years of people's lives are essentially traded away for money. Of course, that isn't true for all people, because in our society there is a very, very small section of people who are born into such wealth and privilege that they never have to work. These are actually the elites of our society, and I suppose a related thing around this is the delusion of the so-called middle classes, right? There are only two classes: the class of people who have no choice but to work, and the class of people who get to choose not to work if they do not want to. That's it. This is where Marx, I think, really was on point in his division between the proletariat and the bourgeoisie. Most people, myself included, despite my posh accent, are members of the proletariat because we have no choice but to work. And if you want to call that freedom, that's your false consciousness to cling to. I have no delusions about the unfreedom of our society, and I find it all rather repulsive. That's, I suppose, a part of who I am. I hate it. I hate work. I hate society. I hate wage slavery. I hate the power structures, the pyramid in this society. And I would basically rather die than comply with it. I'd rather go and become a monk than comply with it, actually. Rather do just about anything but comply with the 9 to 5 drudgery that is expected of most people in this society. And you're expected to pretend that you're okay with it, pretend to be free, pretend to be happy with it, instead of actually being honest. And actually, even me making this video and being honest about how much I hate work is probably essentially a bad idea, because if a future employer or potential employer were to look it up, it might harm my career prospects, and I could, I suppose, choose to sell out and not be honest, but I think instead I will be honest. So at least you know that you're in good company with your hatred of work.